Before we start, this guide assumes that you've gone through the tutorial and have a basic understanding of the game. It also assumes that you, the viewer, clicks on keywords that you don't know to see its effects. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, Wings is probably one of the first characters you'll see in Abyssal Soul once you start doing your pulls. She's one of the warrior characters available from the Permanent Seek. Along with the weekly guaranteed character system, this makes Wings a highly accessible character for players old and new alike. I personally think she's a fun and powerful character that's great for beginners. I'm writing this guide as a way to show beginners or people who struggle with clearing with Wings how I personally clear with Wings reliably. Please keep in mind that this is more of a beginner guide rather than a high Nightmare clear guide. Wings can clear Nightmare 9 quite easily, in fact, I've done so myself. It's just that in higher Nightmares, some enemies counter Wings pretty badly and she can get caught off guard if you don't have the safety nets or certain tools in your deck when you go up against them. However, viability in high Nightmare is beyond the scope of this guide and will not be further discussed here. Okay, so first, let's talk about Wings herself. Her main trait is that she doesn't count zero-cost attack cards towards her Q limit. Her base deck consists of 3 dodges, 3 mechanical claws, 2 calm force, 1 accumulated force, and 1 Azure Knight. Like other characters, she has 3 masteries and 3 potentials. Let's go over the masteries first. Her first mastery gives her a Guardian Robe Plus. Her second mastery engraves her dodges with Thorns 5. Her third mastery turns her mechanical claws into rapiers. Her 3 potentials are Fate Step, Legendary Swordplay, and Double Step. Fate Step adds a 1/1 dodge to your deck. Legendary Swordplay allows you to choose 1 card with the sword tag in your deck and reduce its cost by 2 permanently. Double Slash allows you to choose a card in your deck and engrave it with Duel. Out of her masteries and potential, her most important mastery is the third one by far. As for potentials, I would prioritize Legendary Swordplay before going to Double Step and then Fate Step when you first unlock it. So how do you actually play Wings? The core lies in Azure Knight. In the default card skin, this card gets more damage the more cards you play in a single turn. Wings at its base is really just spamming zero-cost cards. To be completely honest, this understanding alone is enough to get you till Nightmare 6 in my opinion at the very least. But let's go over things in a bit more detailed manner. First, the deck. There are a couple of ways to build Wings' deck. I'll cover some generally good cards and then cover the deck I tend to use. The first card is Azure Knight. Azure Knight is your core card. It's a card that increases its damage every time you play any other card, and if you happen to have it, I would recommend using its Crystal Tech skin. You can try to get it by clearing the class achievements like shown in the background video. The Crystal Tech skin stacks up hits instead of damage, so every time you play a card, Crystal Tech or CT Azure Knight hits an additional time. The second card is Armblade. Armblade is your other core card. Every time you deal damage while you have Armblade in hand, it'll trigger and deal damage afterwards. It's a great choice considering how many times you hit per turn, and it works even better if you use CT Azure Knight. The third card is Timulant or Restless Charger. Both of these cards are great, and they serve the same purpose, which is being your main draw engine. To be completely honest, you only need one of these in your deck, and usually I would go for Stimulant since you deal damage more times than you actually cast cards due to having Armblade most of the time. The fourth card is Vitality Pump. Like Stimulant and Restless Charger, Vitality Pump serves as a draw engine. You don't actually need it if you already have another draw engine, but I like to keep one just in case I don't draw into Stimulant. And usually one Vitality Pump is enough, but adjust as you go, depending on the size of your deck. The fifth card is Lightning Whip. Lightning Whip is the premium choice for your attack card. It's a card that, after you cast it, goes to cooldown 5, which means that it can't be used for 5 turns. But this cooldown reduces every time you cast another card. Because of Wing's playstyle, Lightning Whip just becomes a self-resetting card that can be used multiple times in a single turn just by you using your other cards. Just make sure that you cast the Lightning Whip or Lightning Whips first before other cards. The more of these you have, the better. The sixth card is Ratchet Knuckles. Ratchet Knuckles is a lot like Crystal Tech Azure Knight, CT Azure Knight, but it scales based on how many attack cards are in hand if you're using the default card scale. This makes Ratchet Knuckles a cheap and effective card for multi-hit without needing to build it up like Azure Knight. It's not mandatory, but it's nice to have, and in some cases it will be more effective for your deck. The seventh card is Whetstone. Whetstone, in my point of view, is more so a win more kind of card rather than a mandatory one. You simply add more damage to your cards through it, and any combat long damage buffs is quite nice on Wings. The eighth card is Guandao. Guandao is a core in the Curse deck and a safety net for other decks. When not used as a core card, Guandao is a way to control what cards you want to discard. This can be useful to get rid of curses or any other annoying cards that you have to keep in your hand. Note that discarding based on the effect of Guandao does not count as discarding for cost, so that it won't trigger some curse cards. Just make sure to read through which ones are safe to discard. The ninth card is Stalwart Armor. Stalwart Armor is your first safety net for high nightmare runs, or basically any run, really. What it does is that it converts any curse-based damage into armor counters for itself. This makes you completely safe from curses like Shock, which can be a real run killer at times for Wings. The 10th card is Aggressor Armor. Aggressor Armor is your second safety net for high nightmare runs. It stacks armor per hit that you do. As long as you keep it in your hand and don't discard it at the end of turn because it exceeds the Q limit, one Aggressor Armor is usually enough even in high nightmare runs. So, here are a few examples of the deck I usually go for with Wings on high nightmare. As you can see, a common thread to see in all three are Armblade, Crystal Tech Azure Knight, and Stimulant. This deck type isn't hard to build, and you don't have to remove too many cards to make it consistent. Use these as examples for when you're confused, if this is the type of deck that you're trying to make. Now, for the amulets. Out of all these amulets, Source Gem is the core one for this strategy. Everything else is extra. You have Reserve Gem or Banner of Valor? Good! You don't have them? Use something else. What's actually important from these amulets are the sockets. On average, these amulets that I have here have 12 gem sockets. Each of them are filled with this level 2 gem. In practice, with those level 2 gems socketed, these amulets give plus 5 to plus 6 damage each. Even with just 3 amulets, that's already plus 15 damage per hit towards the card at the front of your queue. at the very least. On 4 amulets, it's 20 damage. This means that even on an unupgraded arm blade with no runes, as long as it's within the front Q, or the front of the Q, it will deal 22 damage per hit. So how do you actually get the arm blade to the front of the Q in the first place? You use Source Gem. So how does that look in an actual run? It looks like this. I'll coin the term F.O.Q blade to refer to this type of deck from now on. F.O.Q is short for front of Q, and the blade here refers to arm blade. That's pretty much the end of this guide. I hope that if there's anything to take away from it, it would be that Wings is viable and fun in all levels of difficulty. What's important to do is just to read and adjust according to what you're given. Being stuck in one game plan can sometimes screw you over more than help you, so be flexible and adjust to what the game gives you. That's all. I hope you have fun.